flash.
Alrighty guys, welcome to the debut episode of Death Curse Society. I'm going to be your host, Red Crank, and these are my friends. We got Moly Michael, we got the Colonel, and we got Zigzag. Death Curse Society, we're going to be talking about all things horror. Every couple of weeks, we're going to throw out a new episode for you, and we're just going to interact with you guys, get some questions from you all, chat back and forth about what's big news in the horror world. We love the horror movies, we love the books, we love the TV shows. We're all about it, and we want to get your input as well. And that's how this show is going to work. But first, we're going to talk about the big topic of our episode. We like to call it, Let's Go Camping.
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
All right, our main topic for Let's Go Camping this time is Universal Studios just dropped 2 new Halloween trailers for us. Halloween's coming out October 19th. We want you to see these before we talk about them again. Here's the US trailer right here.
Trick or treat! So my house is here. Which one should we go to? They're all spooky. I'm gonna pick that one over on across the street. Yeah. Oh, what the? Hey! Sorry about that. Sorry.
40 years ago, on Halloween night, Michael Myers murdered 3 people.
After that horrific night, he was sent back to the institution in captivity.
I have prayed every night that he would escape.
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him. The bus crashed.
Michael Myers escaped.
He'll return to Haddonfield, his home.
I need to protect my family.
You have no security system, Karen.
Mom, you need help.
Evil is real.
There's a reason we're supposed to be afraid of the sight.
I've been preparing for this for a long time. It is not safe to be on the street tonight.
Go home! Get out of here! Get inside! Michael!
He's here. He is a killer, but he will be killed tonight. Happy Halloween, Michael.
All right, so that's the US trailer from Universal Pictures for the new Halloween coming out October 19th. Moly, talk to me, baby.
Oh, man. Just watching it again right there gets me so jacked up for this movie. Okay, this US trailer breakdown here, real quick. Such a different trailer, and in my mind, so much better than the other trailer. I thought at first they showed too much, but after watching it, 25 times, I don't think they showed too much. I think they showed you kind of what you needed to see. The opening chorus looks like what they did in the original Halloween 2. You kind of follow Myers around, and I love the long shot. That was so nice, seeing the shape move through the space. Walking back there, grabbing a hammer. Beautiful. Taking out the new Mrs. Elrod. Looks a little younger. The knife looked a little bit small when he picked it up, and I don't get why he's picking up everything left-handed here. Would he switch what he's doing now, or I don't know. I thought in the first one he was right-handed, but maybe that's just for the camera effect when he grabbed the hammer. They wanted to make sure they could see it. Then it looks like he comes over there and kills the next. This trailer really showed a lot of Michael Myers kind of doing what the children are doing on Halloween, but in his own way. He's the shape. He's trick-or-treating his own way. You see a clip later on where he's got that apparently a cop's head hollowed out like a jack-o'-lantern. I mean, he's doing his own carvings. I mean, he's trick-or-treating his own way, and I love it.
Yeah. Colonel, let's get your thoughts on this one.
I'm with Molly. That long continuous shot was genius. A great throwback to the original Halloween film. One thing I did notice, just being the overthinker that I am, and I thought it was kind of funny. You notice when they're going down that carport that's well lit, the first few windows on the left-hand side are caged up, but once you get to the back, there's no bars on those windows. It has nothing to do with the film, just me noticing stupid stuff like that. The hollowed-out sheriff's head and the patrol car was a nice touch right before it looks like Laurie's son-in-law meets his end. Was a great touch. And I like how they kept the highlights from the first trailer, setting up the story into the, as I call it, the Michael trailer, was the one they just released a few days ago. It was great.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of new footage in these new trailers that didn't really have much to do with the first one that dropped a couple months ago. And I like that. Ziggy, what do you got?
And Halloween 2018, 40 years later. I did notice, I love the tributes as well to the whole long shot. It's a nice Halloween, too. There's even a ham there that she's making a fucking ham sandwich. So, I mean, it's great. This, to me, absolutely feels like a Halloween movie. Like, a lot of those old sequels didn't have that kind of feeling, that same tangible magic that these films had from those olden days. This has it in spades. And I'm ready for it. I mean, the whole thing with Michael Myers and how he looks like a Michael Myers. None of these other jabronis that were wearing the mask, they didn't look like a Michael Myers. They didn't have the mannerisms or anything. They got this. These details are good. The music, I know that really kind of helps this trailer. That's the original music. This isn't new music we're hearing. That may be a lot of why I'm feeling how I feel about it. But, man, after watching these trailers and the old one, I still feel now there's a lot more to be seen that they're not revealing yet. So there's more to come, even though they've shown us a lot. But I mean, man, I haven't been this excited about a horror film in years.
And I think we can all agree to this, that the announcement of this movie kind of inspired what you're watching now, ladies and gentlemen, the Death Curse Society itself. That movie, and of course the game Friday the 13th that we all met through PS4. That's how the idea for this all came together. And we may even do like a special episode about that at some point, or like a little featurette on that at some point, and let you guys know how we all met and a little bit more about us. You'll learn so much more about us in the coming weeks, years, whatever. But to get back to the Halloween trailer on my end, Zag especially talking about this feels like a Halloween film. I would say on a scale of John Carpenter's Halloween to Halloween Resurrection. Fuck off, Busta Rhyme.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
It's definitely closer to the John Carpenter Halloween, in my opinion, and I like that. I like Michael's movements. I like most of the lighting. I like the mood that's put in there. I'm curious to see. I think we got a little taste of some of the new score that John Carpenter is working on. Not a whole lot yet, but I'm ready to hear that in the context of the story. And one other thing that I liked about this trailer was a little throwback to, and it was in the first trailer as well, a little throwback to 3 with the Silver Shamrock mask and the kids.
That was great.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. One other thing that was interesting about this was a few weeks ago at San Diego Comic-Con, there was talk that I guess they had shown like an extended clip. And I think the beginning of this trailer is a good majority of that clip. And like Zach said, it finally feels like a Halloween film because we haven't had one of those in a couple of decades. You know, I mean, H2O could have been something
It had the right intentions to begin, and then it went no.
Yeah, it could have been something. Then it was just like, hey, let's take a road trip to California, and that just that blew it for me. I assume what they're referring to is kind of the international trailer. We may refer to it as the Laurie trailer, but check this one out, and we'll be right back.
On a Halloween in 1978, you saw deranged serial killer Michael Myers murder 3 innocent teenagers. The thing that interests us about this story is, after 40 years, could it be that one monster has created another?
So, you don't believe in the boogeyman?
No.
You should.
My grandmother turns into a nutcase this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, she is Laurie Strode, who was almost murdered.
Every day she lives in fear that he's coming back.
Michael, I have something you might like to see. You remember Laurie Strode?
Dad, look out!
Michael's escape. I've been preparing for this for a long time. It is not safe for you to be on the street tonight.
He was standing right there in the doorway.
I prayed every night that he would escape.
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him. He's waited for this night. I've waited for him. He's here. I'm gonna go protect my family. Get away! Happy Halloween, Michael.
All right, so that's the international trailer, maybe otherwise known as the Laurie trailer. A different take, and that's one of the things I like about these two trailers dropping together at the same time. You've got the Michael-centric trailer, and then you've got the Laurie-centric trailer. I like that duality of it that kind of pits the two together, and a lot along the lines of the slogan on the poster. Face your fate, where it's got the Laurie image on one side and Michael in the background kind of blending together almost. One of the things that caught my eye in the international trailer is, we're talking a little bit about, they're talking a lot about the filmmakers that are making whatever documentary on Michael and Laurie's relationship. And there's one point where they're at Smith's Grove, and they're showing him the mask, and the filmmaker says something along the lines of, "Hey, Michael, do you remember Laurie Strode?" And I don't know if you guys caught this, but there's this just very subtle, clenching of the fist when he says that with Michael. And I think that's what sets him off to go and look for, like you were talking about earlier. The other thing in this trailer that I kind of dug, or I kind of thought was interesting, was it almost seems like the filmmakers are doing something more on Laurie, because there's a line in there about did the capture of one monster create another one, or something along those lines. I don't know where that's going, but I'm curious about that because it definitely piques my interest. So, Zag, talk to us about the international trailer.
The international trailer is very surprising to me, really. Because I expected to see a little bit of here and there, but boy, they really, really let you know what's going on and how we're going to get to what we all want to see. But the crazy cat lady Laurie, I love it, and she's right. She knows it, and that is also just it's charming to me. Everyone thinks her own family is like, "Oh, you need help, Mom. You need help." Yeah. She knows it's coming. It's coming, and they paint it beautifully. I still don't like the filmmakers. You know, you got to have a catalyst. I understand. You know, but you know, it's someone's. I'm gonna make this. This is my project. You know, it doesn't matter who they hurt, kind of thing. You know, so I got a feeling if they meet their demise, I'll probably enjoy that a little bit.
Molly, what do you got on the international trailer?
I think in the international trailers where you first get the first taste of Carpenter doing something different with the music. He starts changing a little bit with the actual theme. You can hear it's a little off, it's a little different, but it's not outrageously different like some of the other sequels. I love the sit-up scene is great. He's at the bottom of the steps, like, you know, just boom. No, I ain't done, bitch. It's not over, honey. The prank scene where the little boy's like, he was standing right there in the doorway, and then she goes in there and jumps out at him to scare him and say, oh yeah, bitch, you gonna get it soon enough, honey. The pace setting of these last two trailers is showing that the movie is gonna be paced the way we want it to be paced. Not because that first trailer was quick cuts, just showing you a lot of action. This is actually showing you the movie is gonna move kind of slow when it needs to move slow. When the action builds up, yeah, even the end of the original Halloween, I mean, it was bam, 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 in your face. Let's go. The tension gets really high. But leading up to that, you know, I hope they do a lot more of these, like, long shots and slow stalking. You know, I hope, like, when the three are walking down the street, the whole time that scene's going on, maybe he's down the street watching. You know? Hopefully, you know. But I'm loving these two trailers, and I could care less if they do another one because I just want the damn movie, and I want it now. That's all I got.
I wish I could go to sleep for about a month and just wake up and it's October 9th. Right.
This guy right here, I need you now. Now.
Colonel, talk to us about the international trailer.
The international trailer I thought was really great. It's unfortunately coming in last on this topic. You guys have pretty much covered everything I wanted to talk about this trailer. So I was going to keep this short and sweet. Great trailer. I really love how the first half of the trailer, they really focused on Lori as the survivor and her past. I think that really plays to what the international audiences are expecting as to where our second trailer for the United States, or at least North America, is more action-packed, bam, 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 bam. I like how that played the difference in the audiences because it is going to be a same film but perceived differently across the world. Now, again, like I said, Crank, I couldn't agree with you more. The one monster created another. That stood out most to me in that entire trailer. That was a great line and really sets up the movie. It's like, okay, Lori's survivor, but is there something a little more dark to Lori than what they're showing in the trailers?
Right.
It's going to be an interesting thing.
And also on that topic, keep in mind, these are British filmmakers, or as Zag likes to refer to them. What was the term?
Wankers?
Wankers.
Oh, that's it. All right. I forgot for a minute.
Bloody wanker.
Kiss off, you grotty little wanker!
But they're British filmmakers, and somehow they've heard across the pond how batshit crazy Laurie Strode is every year around Halloween. And they say, hey, let's fly over and make a documentary about this crazy bitch. You know, that's something that kind of piqued my interest from the one monster creating another monster line was, wait, they're flying all this way just for her? Interesting.
Wankers.
So, yeah, nah, hush. You're going to ruin our international audience. Don't turn them off the first show, damn it.
I apologize to the great nation of the United Kingdom. Humbly.
The views expressed by Zigzag do not necessarily, reflect the views of DCS in general. All right. Let's talk about comparisons to the first trailer. I know we've kind of touched on this, but Colonel, you seem to complain about this a little bit. You didn't get the first topic, so you go this time. Okay.
So my comparisons for the first, I'm just literally talking North American trailers here. My comparisons and general thoughts on it. I really liked how the first trailer for us really seemed to focus on Lori, and the second trailer focused on Michael. That's great for the whole tag, for the face-off. You're getting both sides of the story before going into this film. I really like how they took the highlights from the first trailer, kept them in the second one, but built on top of that. That was
they minimized them, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really generous way to do it. And the fact they literally kept this scene in there, I couldn't have been any happier. That is still the highlight of the trailers for me, is dropping the teeth. That is so damn evil. It just, it gets me going.
Who doesn't creep the flip out when you see someone's teeth get knocked out or pinned out or something like that, or pulled out? I mean, it's always a squeamer. And I agree totally. And leaving it in there is brilliant. A new trick for Michael. Man, what else you got? Bring it.
Wait a minute. Did you say squeamer? Like SQ?
SQ is a squeamer.
Okay. Is that a British word I don't know?
I think Zag's part British.
I think Zag is silently telling us to fuck off. How about Molly? Molly, you go with this.
Well, with the comparison, out of the three, I mean, the second one where they follow Myers more, I think, is definitely the best trailer. But yes, definitely right where you were finishing here, you said something about tricks, and it's exactly what Myers is doing here. I mean, he's a force of nature, and he's just coming in and wiping people out. But this movie really looks like he's enjoying himself, like a violent way of enjoying himself. The teeth. I mean, wait till you see the dude and how he lost the teeth. Fucking mouth on the side of the table, just all curb stomped and shit. Oh man. But going door to door, I mean, Myers is gonna be vicious. I think Myers is gonna give Rob Zombie's Michael Myers a run for his money, honestly, because this Myers is already winning because they're keeping him human and they're not making him like 7 feet tall, outrageous power. They're keeping this guy just filled with rage for 4 years. So this is going to be a Michael Myers that we've never seen before.
Let's talk about thoughts and expectations a little bit more. Zigzag, what do you have expectation-wise for this film?
Michael Myers is back, is my main expectation. But at the same time, I'm excited as hell to see this heroine of Jamie Lee Curtis now and Laurie Strode, what she's become. That's my expectations. I expect a epic face-off battle between the two that will probably rival the Freddy versus Jason one, I hope anyway. But yes, but I feel like this is going to be a winner. I mean, it's just got everything, the vibe's positive. Everything we've seen looks good. There's nothing I can really nitpick about it. So I'm saying, man, just bring this on. Again, October 19th can't come soon enough.
I agree. Colonel, talk to us about thoughts and expectations.
Okay, expectations. I'm expecting this to be a great film. Like I said, Michael Myers is back. I'm expecting throwbacks to the original, something we don't have nowadays. Long, continuous shots, story build-up, not chop, 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 chop. Everything happens in a split second. I can't stand that. I appreciate a good story. I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be, I don't hold up too high, but I have a pretty good feeling it's going to be better than Halloween's 3 through Resurrection. That's my safe expectation there. And one real quick thought about it, what I'd kind of like to see, I want to hear about Tommy and Lindsay. I know we heard about Tommy and Curse of Michael Myers, the piece of garbage. But I really want to hear more about Tommy and Lindsay, and hopefully they play a small role at least in this film. Because I want to see how screwed up those kids are too, not just Laurie. I mean, they're survivors as well.
Great point.
Yeah. And by the way, viewers, I think that's Colonel's polite way of saying "fuck you, Paul Rudd."
Sorry.
Great as Ant-Man, but fuck you as Tommy Doyle.
Are you looking for someone? Thank you.
Molly, what do you got on thoughts and expectations?
Thoughts and expectations. Well, I expect to go see it on the 19th. 20th and 21st, I plan on seeing it my second and third time.
He's real.
And I plan on getting some pretty moist undies when I go see it because this movie is going to be badass. I knew it was going to be good, when we talked a while ago about this movie. Seeing more and more of the movie and how they're doing it the way they're supposed to. They're using people from the original. They're going off the original storyline. They're trying to do it with the same type of shots, the music, everything. It's going to be what any Halloween Michael Myers horror fan has been waiting for. This is it. You're not going to get anything better than this, except the original. That's it. It's going to be this and the original. That's what you're going to have. And I'm fine with the storyline being get rid of the sequels. I love part 2, the original part 2, but you know, that's fine if it's not part of this. They give enough throwbacks to the other movie. So I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been this excited about a movie since probably Freddy vs. Jason, and I was disappointed with that movie, but I know I'm not going to be with this one. So
I got you. Zag, what else you got to add?
He brings that up. That is a valid point to mention because none of us were fans of the fact that all the sequels were getting rubbed out. How the hell were they going to do that to this mythology? You know what I mean? But it appears they've absolutely done it. So I want to, yeah, absolutely. I agree with Molly on that. That's a great point. Super point.
Yeah. I like some of the sequels. I mean, I'm a big fan of 4. I thought the fact, you know, with Jamie Lloyd, I thought that was a nice little touch. And then they kind of went downhill, but after that, it was kind of a shitstorm after that, and I wasn't really.
None of the sequels though had that essence of the first one. It wasn't there.
No, I mean,
Myers not the same. This one he feels the same.
These trailers even drag me right back to that time. You know, a little 8 or 9-year-old Red Crank in the theater watching part 2, and I think I even saw like a double feature in some theater. So I'm ready for it. I love nostalgia, and I think it's going to be great. So, Colonel, what else you got to add?
That's a great point you bring up about nostalgia because let's be honest, nostalgia sells right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, even though it's not horror related, look at TV. You got Magnum P.I. coming back, Murphy Brown, Roseanne. They are striking while the iron is hot with nostalgia, and they're going to do it right. It's going to be fantastic because, like you said, that kind of was the drawback from the other sequels. They were products of their time. So, of course, it's not going to feel like the original 78 because they're not new. They weren't new. They're just continuing the story. But that's all I had to say. I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up.
No, you're right. Like, well, and look at 2 of the biggest hit on NBC last year was Will and Grace. Or one of the biggest hits, you know. One of the biggest hits on CBS over the last several years has been Hawaii Five-0. You know, there's a nostalgia factor. Molly.
What this movie is finally doing, what so many, especially in the horror genre world, is tried to do recently is it's so hard for these people to come up with good original horror movie ideas on their own. I mean, Saw was a great idea, and you know, since then I haven't seen much, but sequels and prequels and reboots have been the thing. This is saying, okay, we know this franchise kind of and went to shit. I mean, you look at Resurrection and it's like, what could we possibly do with Resurrection? This movie isn't meant to be a sequel to add on to, you know, that. This David Gordon Green and the other writer,
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride.
Them two love the original. They're fans of the original, and they did whatever they could to keep this as close to the original. And the best thing you could do for Halloween is continue it from the first movie. And it couldn't have been done a smarter, better way than doing that, than trying to come out with some sequel or a prequel. I mean, I don't want to see a fucking prequel. You know, this is great. This is what they needed to do. And we're going to get a hell of a movie.
I think so, and
we hope.
The timeline looks solid, and the continuation of the story looks solid. I think they may, if this movie is done right, I think this may be one of the better examples, and I'm hoping this happens. One of the better examples of an older film trying to come back to a new generation and satisfying past audiences and bringing in new audiences, and hopefully starting another series after this. I mean, I think they've said they've got a sequel idea in mind. I just hope it trails on better than some of what we had in the past with sequels. All right, guys, we got to take a quick break on Death Curse Society. We're going to check out, well, we want you to check out these messages. and then we will be right back with more Death Curse Society. Stay tuned.
Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be right back!
Hey, how you doing, man? I'm Nick Castle, and you're listening to Death Curse Society.
All right, we're back with Death Curse Society. I'm still Red Crank, the one and only. I've got Moly Michael, I've got the Colonel, and I've got Zigzag. Our next segment on Death Curse Society is a little bit different. It's more of a quick shot kind of thing. We take a number of topics and we run them down, you know, and talk about each one just a little bit. Hopefully not as extensively as the first segment. But this one's called Stories Around the Campfire. Join us, won't you?
I don't want to scare anyone, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, come back, come back!
Our first story around the campfire tonight, The Nun, dropped in theaters on Friday. A lot of us had a chance to go check it out. Yeah, thank you, Catholic school bastard. A lot of us had a chance to go see it this weekend. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But in case you haven't seen too much about it, here's the trailer for The Nun. Check this out and we'll be right back.
I had a series of visions when I was younger. And after each one ended, the same thought would be stuck in my head.
What did you see?
I saw a nun. Word of my visions reached the church,
And I was asked to accompany a priest to an abbey in Romania.
The Abbey has a long history. Not all good.
What?
Shouldn't him down. Callahan's here.
All right, that's the trailer for The Nun. The Nun is a prequel to The Conjuring and the Annabelle movies. It has a lot of ties, well, not a lot, but it has a few ties into some of the earlier movies. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I'd say I'd give it probably around a 7 out of 10 if it was me. I recently rewatched all the Conjuring movies, basically all in one sit down with one of my lesbian friends. And I hadn't really thought about it in a while. I don't know why I mentioned the lesbian friend, but you know. I have a lesbian friend, guys. You know what? But we watched all those, and then we went and saw The Nun this weekend, and it was interesting. I like the ties to the previous films and the way they mention like Valak, the what seems to be one of the primary demons in this Conjuring universe. I've always thought that Catholic and religious imagery, no offense to the Catholics out there, but has this creepiness to it. Not the beliefs per se, although that's another story, but the imagery itself has this just darkness to it, and I like the way that was used in the film. During the Halloween discussion, we talked about it being kind of nice to see long, slow shots develop, and the Nun has a lot of that too. I thought they relied too much on jump scares, which is probably one of my worst complaints about horror films today. I'm not a big fan of the jump scare, and they relied a lot on, hey, the camera's here, here's what you see, it moves for a second and comes back and something different's there. That seemed to happen in this film a dozen times at least, and that just kind of got old. But overall, I liked it. I love the performance by Thaisa, I hope that's how you say it, Farmiga, who is Vera's sister. And I loved her performance. I wish they could have done more with her in the beginning because she seemed a little dry and just too basic in the beginning. But the last 30 minutes of her performance was just great. And the only other thing I will say about it personally is the comic relief, Frenchie, drove me up the wall. I could have done without him almost. I would have rather had a British guy in there doing that instead of a French Canadian.
A wanker?
Yeah, I'd rather have a wanker in there being an asshole instead of this.
Yeah.
I'm a goofy romantic French guy. Ooh la la! He drove me up the damn wall.
French Canadian.
But anyway, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Colonel, what did you think of The Nun?
I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I mean, it was nothing unexpected. Jump scares, very predictable storyline. As I kind of agree with you. Frenchie was a little too much and unnecessary at times. And all right, so you cinematographers out there, don't kill me for this one, but I think they over-relied on the saturation of the white coming out into the black. Now, without giving you spoilers, I really can't say and go more in depth on it than that. And one thing I really thought about the film, I know it was unintentional, but man, thank you for the nod to Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. That is actually one of my favorite films, and when this scene popped up, I was like, oh, cool, they stole that from Demon Knight and have no idea what they've done. But on a scale of 10, I'd probably give the film a 6. It was a fun watch. Not necessarily my type of horror, but it was a fun film to go see.
Ziggy, what do you got on this?
The Nun, yes. I concur with the boys here. What we have, you've seen this before. The slow burn, the slow pace, the slow build. You've seen every kind of, this is all the James Wan's tricks with the camera swinging like that, and then there's something there, and the quick jumps, and it's all there. Where this movie works is in the cinematography. It is the moody little music that they build on you. You don't even notice it. But as it's going along, as Crank said, the creepy Catholic, we're in fucking Romania here in 1952, so it's nuts, it's looking nuts. It's all out in the woods, and there's nothing there. And that you're in this creepy abbey is the destination. There's nowhere to go. You can't leave once you're there for the night. You'll be taken out by the wild animals. But that's what makes this work. And the way they shoot it, you get to a point where everywhere you look around, everything in the background, there could be a nun underneath there ready to pop out at you. I mean, there's sheets over furniture and shit all over the place, just the dark shadows. That's why this movie works. And it does build, and it's very predictable. You can figure out what's going to happen, but it does tie up some loose ends. Something horror movies don't do these days. This is a side movie. This is branching off. You know what I mean? This is a franchise of a franchise, so they have to do that, and they never do anymore. This did that very well. So you're going to know exactly where Valak came from when you finish this movie and how it connects to the current Conjuring or the Conjuring of the 1970s. So I score it like my top score would be 5 severed bloody heads, and this one I'll give 2.5 because it does. This is almost like Salem's Lot. You know how you see Mr. Barlow, the vampire, too much, and he's just not scary anymore? The Nun is the same way. Once you get her on her face in the screen too many times, just kind of like, all right, you know, it's not that terrifying. Although she does get you a few times along the way. So, you know what? It's definitely worth seeing once. Go out there and get scared, and, you know, it's there. It fits in with what they're doing, and, you know, I say 2.5. It's not any worse than anything else you've seen out there. So definitely check out The Nun.
Sure. Yeah, you guys are right on the cinematography and the production design. I thought was just top notch. And I'm not sure I can talk about this, but it almost alludes. I mean, this may be a spoiler alert for some of you that don't want to see this or don't want to watch this part now. Fast forward about 2 minutes, maybe. There seems to be an allusion to the fact that possibly at the very end of the movie, they talk about the Frenchie's exorcism, and there's an allusion to Vera Farmiga's character, Louise, possibly inviting the demon in. Is that what you were talking about?
I think Colonel just meant, since we're in the spoiler zone now, he meant the spitting of the blood into the demon's face from Demon Knight is what he's talking about. But I'm definitely with you. I noticed that as well, and asked the person I went with did she notice that? Do you think the demon went into our what's her name? Lorraine.
Is it right?
Louise or Lorraine or Louise? I think it's Louise. But yes, the same thing. But at the very root of it, it's the root of all her torment of why she had to get out of it. So I mean, that's why it's cool.
Yeah, that's why I'm interested to see. I assume there's going to be a Conjuring 3 next year. So
this may be exactly what they build it on. I mean, because it's very subtle, but I mean, I was all over it. I was all over it.
Yeah, it was very subtle, like you said. It was very subtle, like you said, with the just showing that flashback of Frenchie's exorcism. But then he says something. And it's a line from a previous movie where they're talking about infants. I can't remember the exact lines, but it's infestation, obsession, and then possession or something like that.
They freeze the camera with her mouth wide open, like Frenchie was.
Right. And I'm wondering, but hopefully we're not giving too much away. But you'll see.
DCS is on top of this shit, man.
That's right. Like we said, spoiler alert, though. So, Molly, since you didn't see it, obviously you don't have.
You ruined it for me. I can't watch it now. Jesus. Fuck. I mean, I'll probably watch it when it comes out on Netflix or DVD or something. But it's definitely not a movie I really cared to see. As you guys said, pretty predictable jump scares. The trailer pretty much showed what it was going to be. But if it does involve The Conjuring and Annabelle, I will have to see it because I have seen those and I know that storyline. So, but thanks. Now I'm fucked up.
Our next thing on Stories Around the Campfire is the new season of American Horror Story, Apocalypse. Let me show you a quick trailer for this.
No need for the rules anymore. The chaos has won.
There's a plane waiting for us. Coco, do not leave me in Santa Monica, you bitch!
American Horror Story Apocalypse.
There's nobody in there.
What?
Welcome to Outpost 3. The house rules are simple. You may never leave the building due to the danger of radiation contamination and no unauthorized copulation. No exception.
What's happening out there? It's all gone.
Boring! Strangely satisfying, isn't it? Dispensing punishment. It's our world now, to remold as we see fit.
What do you think?
Hail Satan.
American Horror Story Apocalypse premieres Wednesday, September 12th on FX. To see it ad-free, upgrade to FX Plus.
I'm really excited for this new season because it's a combination of at least one of my very favorite season. A combination of Murder House, Season 1, and Coven. And I'm interested to see how these two combine and come together. I'm really anxious for it. And I'm hoping, and I think it's happening, but I'm looking very forward to the return of Jessica Lange and Zigzag.
Yeah, I'll say they really lost me with that last one with all the politics and everything, but it looks like they've gone back to creepy, disturbing. Hell, it's the Antichrist is the thread here, so that's interesting enough in itself. So I'm back. I'm watching, but I'm watching you.
All right, Molly, talk to us about American Horror Story Apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer looks not too shabby. I mean, if they bring back Jessica Lange, that would be sweet. She's always been one of my favorites from the series. And my favorite was Season 1, along with you, Frank, the Ghost House. American Horror Stories, I like what they've done for horror genre. So, I mean, I'm all about them. Keep it coming. I don't know how long they're going to continue, but I like it.
It's definitely good to have some horror options on TV. I mean, when I was growing up, pretty much all we had was like maybe Friday the 13th, the series, Kolchak, The Night Stalker. I don't know if some of you guys remember that, but that didn't last very long. And then like Freddy's Nightmares in the 80s, but that's all we had then. We didn't really have much else that I can remember, besides like Twilight Zone and I guess Tales from the Crypt was a good
Tales from the Crypt, in the 90s was pretty big.
Yeah. Colonel, talk to us about American Horror Story.
All right, I'm obviously not in love with this show like some of you guys are. Honestly, my Murder House, Asylum, and Coven, in my opinion, the only good seasons that they've had. The rest went to shit every season. Not even saying that Asylum and Coven aren't nearly as good as Murder House. No. So they did pique my interest when I saw the Gimp from Murder House and the Witches from the Coven. And so, they'll bring me in to watch it again because I haven't watched it since episode 2 of season 4. I will, unlike Molly, though, I will not catch up. And if I lose interest, I will stop watching it again.
Fair enough. I've been a fan of it for differing reasons. I mean, obviously I wasn't too big of a fan of the cult season, but I think that was kind of more of an experiment. And that was just, Foulcheck and the group, the production group, that was kind of their statement. They wanted to make a statement. They have so much power in television and Hollywood right now that they can pretty much throw away a season of one of their, 12 shows that they've got working right now. They can throw away one season knowing they're coming back for at least 2 more and do it. So that was their message. We're moving on.
I got it. I'll say this, I see what they did. I understand why they did it. But as a horror fan, I'm here to support horror. And if you're not giving me my horror, sorry, guys, stay on point. That's all I'm saying. You were doing fine before. Just get back to it.
Colonel.
One last thing. I know we mentioned it. I know Jessica Lange has been confirmed to come back, but it's only 1 episode.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I heard Let Jessica Lange come back, I was like, oh, cool. But then I heard 1 episode. There we go.
Yeah, I figured it wasn't going to be much. I hadn't heard how much she was involved, but I figured it wasn't going to be very, very much material from her. We got to take another quick break. We're going to be back in just a little bit to wrap up the show with your audience questions and a little more. We'll be right back. Stay tuned for Death Curse Society.
I'll be right back. Don't get dressed.
Do you
like Death Curse Society?
Support the DCS by advertising with us. We have several different ways to advertise. Sponsor a segment or a complete show, 30 or 60-second commercials, product placements or service discussion, banner ads with links on our interactive website, full website page sponsorships, get Facebook and Twitter mentions from our host or special guest, special shout-outs on our YouTube channel, and more. You can even advertise regionally through our website and keep your costs down, or ask about our package deals to save even more. Visit our website at deathcursesociety.com and click on the advertising sponsorship link under contact on the main menu. Thanks.
Hi, it's Kane Hodder. You're listening to Death Curse Society. Keep listening. Or don't fucking listen. I don't care.
All right, welcome back to Death Curse Society. I'm Red Crank. I've still got Moly Michael. I've got the Colonel. And I've got Zigzag. Our next segment is where we talk to you, the viewers, and try to answer your questions that you send us throughout the weeks before we shoot a show. This is called Lemme Axe You a Question.
Little pigs, let me come in. Here's Johnny.
Our first question today comes from Chris Faze on Facebook. Are there any horror movies you hated as a kid but love now? If so, why? Okay, let's start with Colonel on this one.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, that's a pretty easy answer. The Exorcist. The first time I seen The Exorcist, I was probably 7, maybe 8, at a babysitter's house. One of her children, much older than myself, was like, "Hey, let's watch this." I'm like, okay. Entirely way too young to comprehend what I was seeing. Scared the shit out of me. I did not watch that movie again until I was probably 13, and then fell in love with it because it was like an entirely new movie.
Yeah.
One of the greatest horror films of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hated it as a kid. Absolutely love it now.
I can see that. It's definitely a lot to take in as a younger person. I can get that. Zag, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, for me, it was The Omen back then. You know, I same reason, a little kid that's the devil. They're telling me, my parents are telling me he's the devil. He's killing everyone around him, you know, and I'm just going, okay, this is not, I don't like this, and it's disturbing me. The hanging nanny freaked me the fuck out for years, you know, and but once I got older, I sat down with it again and saw what the whole story was and how they built it, and it's brilliant. I love it now. So yeah, The Omen is mine, and yes, it's out. It's in my probably in my top 25 now.
Nice. All right, Molly.
I can't think of any particular movie. The best I could say is the subgenre of paranormal type movies. I didn't really care for, or, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say ghosts, but, you know, on that level, because I was always a slasher guy and a kid, and I like zombies and stuff like that. But as I got older, now I can appreciate them more, because pretty much the only type of movie that actually does put me a little on edge is paranormal movies, if they're done right. So I guess I'd say that. I don't have a particular movie, though. Usually if I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't change.
I got you. I would have to say Halloween 3. It pissed me off so much in, what was that, 84 when that came out? Somewhere around there? 83. It pissed me off so much when that came out that it had zero to do with Michael Myers, basically. And that ruined it for me. Now, as an adult, looking back at it and seeing, and basically forcing my brain to look at it as a completely different film, kind of changed my mind a little bit. So that would be mine. FaZe asked also something on this. Would there be something in reverse? I do have one, and if you guys have one, let me know. But the reverse of that, a movie I loved as a kid but hate now, is kind of a horror movie, but would be Saturday the 14th. I don't know if any of you guys remember that film, but
I got that movie. Oh, I know.
Richard Benjamin back in the day was like a comic genius, and I love the parody of horror films going on with that movie as like a 10-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid, something like that. Now, I watched it not too long ago for the first time in decades, and I was just like, holy shit. And I actually showed it to someone else. I was like, man, you got to see this. You haven't seen this? And they were like, what the fuck? And I was like that too. I was like, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
So that kind of, the reverse kind of threw for me on that one was Saturday the 14th. Zag, did you have something?
I do. The House by the Cemetery is mine. It's a Fulci film. You know, it's Italian. As a kid, it scared me to death, you know, and I loved it. And I watched it a lot. And then, man, I tell you what, I don't know, something clicked. I watched it as an adult. I was just like, what a piece of shit. It's terrible. I mean, it's nothing good about it. It makes no sense.
Is that the one with like a zombie thing in the basement?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they got you because they tied into the City of the Walking Dead as one of the other doors to the gates of hell. And it's got nothing to fucking do. That's the basement. That's what it is. And they never tell you that's what it is. It's ridiculous. Don't waste your time. It's bad.
Wow. I'd forgotten about that one. Colonel, you got one?
Oh yeah, I have a gem here. Young Colonel absolutely thought Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, was one of the greatest films ever made. Hey, I was a kid. I didn't know any better. I try to watch it now as I'm introducing my old. Come back. Come on.
Hey, he didn't say Part 9.
Let me reel you back in.
All right.
So I'm recently watching the movies all over again. Like I ever stopped watching them, but I'm watching some of the worst ones again as I'm showing my oldest child, introducing her to the Friday the 13th series. She absolutely loves Part 8, and I'm like, this is garbage. How in the hell are we watching this? Oh, it's just awful. How in the hell does a lake lead to the ocean? That doesn't even make sense. A lake is fucking landlocked.
It appeals to kids, I guess.
Yeah, it does. It's simple. It's not real gory. It's
You've got to disable any reality to follow that film.
Yes.
So, Molly, you got one?
The only thing that really comes to mind is offhand would be I don't dislike it now, but I don't like it as much. It would be I Was a Teenage Zombie. It's always been a really goofy, gappy horror movie, but watching it now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, this really sucks.
50s?
No, it wasn't made in the 50s, but it looks like it's in the 50s.
Okay, they must have remade it.
It's got some like Mexican dude who becomes a zombie. Or they kill him by accident, and he comes back from toxic stuff in the water. And then, he's just running around talking and going after the teenagers that killed him. Really goofy.
And say it doesn't hold up quite as nice these days. Some of these.
Yeah.
Time can take its toll on movies and art in general. So, you gotta go with it.
That's the point of a timeless classic. It's good regardless, but some movies can't do it.
Right. I would like to take this opportunity to mention out there to any of our audience and viewers, we are taking applications for certain availability based on that Friday the 13th Part 8, loving it.
Yes.
So
we have a seat open here.
Yeah, that's right.
I was fucking 9, asshole. Let go.
If you do submit an application, say "fuck Colonel," hashtag "fuck Colonel" on it, and we'll file it away and save it for later. Just kidding, Colonel. Next, we've got a video from one of our viewers. Let's roll this and see what his question is.
I'm John Guyewitz. I'm from Cross, Wisconsin. And my question to you guys is, what's your 5 horror movies you like.
All right. That's one of our viewers in La Crosse, Wisconsin, John Geiwitz. Thank you, John, for the video and reaching out to us.
Familiar.
Appreciate you reaching out to us on our first show. Colonel, so what he said, what are your top 5 favorite horror movies?
Top 5 off the top of my head. Dawn of the Dead, Halloween, Monster Squad, The Exorcist, Friday the 13th, Part 4. Boom.
Interesting. Moley.
Halloween, Dawn of the Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Lost Boys, Trick or Treat from the 80s.
The good one.
Yes. Easy.
Okay. Ziggy.
I have 2 number 1s, and I can't separate them. So, Halloween or Dawn of the Dead. Friday the 13th, Part 4. The Exorcist, One Dark Night.
Very nice, very nice. I personally can't separate movies from franchises. I just have a hard time with that because most of the time, if I like a movie that's part of a franchise, like Friday the 13th, I like the entire series. It may have ups and downs, but I like the entire series. I don't love Part 8, but I can tolerate it.
You're on probation, buddy.
I think so, yeah. No, we'll talk about that later. But so mine would be Friday the 13th series, Psycho, the Halloween series, Nightmare on Elm Street series, and then probably The Thing would be my top 5. But I'm throwing series in there, and that may be a cheat. Sorry, John, if you think that's a cheat, but that's the way I feel. That's the way I think about things. So, good questions, everybody out there. Appreciate you guys sending in the questions. We look forward to having more through the weeks to come, and that's great. If you guys feel like sending in a question, we'll always have a post on our Facebook page, or you can send them through Twitter, Instagram. Send us videos, however you can do it. Just send us a question, and we'll hopefully be able to try to answer it on the air. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the debut episode of Death Society. We hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Red Crank. Colonel, send them out for the night.
Okay, first I want to spend a special shout out to Phil Mora. Thank you for such a wonderful product and making these glorious edits possible. And a very, very special thank you to Friday the 13th, the game, Gum Media, and Ilphonic. Honestly, if it wasn't for the game, none of this would have been possible. So again, from the bottom of all 4 of our hearts, thank you for such a wonderful product and bringing us together.
Amen, brother. You may have just gotten off probation with that. Holy, talk to him.
All right. Well, you can check us out at deathcursesociety.com. Leave us your questions. Communicate with us. Ask us anything. Talk to us. I'll get on there. I'll chat with you. Let's have it. Check us out on Facebook. Follow us there. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. You're going to find us. Share with your friends. Share with your family. Share with your dentist, your church. No matter who. Just tell people about Death Curse Society. Let them know. Because you got to get cursed, and then you got to stay cursed.
Yes. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Ziggy.
Hey, you can be DCS. You can prove it. You can get yourself one of these bad boys right here, right now. What you got to do is hit the page, and you'll find you can get a hold of us on there. It's PayPal. That's where we're going to do it through. And Zigzag is DCS is the address. Put your stuff down there, your address. We'll get you shipped right out. They're $20. And then if you're a bigger gal or fella, $5 more. It's just the way it goes. It's how it goes. But we got you covered, man. We got all sizes, and you can prove that you, sir or ma'am, are indeed DCS.
Sexy, sexy. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Our next episode will come out on September 27th. We're going to be doing basically every 2 weeks is our plan, except for October. We got some special things planned for October. And we'll have some in-between stuff coming out throughout the week as in-between episodes. But on our next episode, September 27th, we're going to be talking about American Horror Story, the first couple of episodes of the Apocalypse season, The Purge on USA, a new show, and anything else that may come up in the next couple of weeks that we can all talk about and share with you and hear about from you. If you have some ideas, send them to us. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. Hit us up. That's going to be it, though. For Molly Michael, for the Colonel, and for Zigzag, I'm Red Crank. DCS out. Stay cursed.
DCS out.
DCS out.
Foot bass, all of you.
That was so dumb.
That was dumb. You want to see what's even more dumb? All right, so we're going to have 3 empty screens. And one screen you're going to have this because I can't get any lower.
I may be able to fade you to black or something. Well, that was fun, guys. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was fun. That was good.